And what was that you just did?
Fentanyl.
And do you know why it's purple? Like what makes it purple, or?
I have no clue. I'm thinking, I guess, the cut, maybe.
Yeah, cut it.
Because it was green last week. Or just yesterday. 2 days ago it was green.
And what happened to your thumb?
I shot up in my artery right here. And it sent a blood clot to these two fingers. And it turned this thumb black. And, like, they were both really swollen.
And what happened to your arm there?
I had an abscess from shooting up in this vein right here. And, I missed down here. And, like, the abscess went into my muscle. And they had to, I had to have surgery. And they had to go in and drain it.
And is that why you're staying away from needles right now?
Yeah. Because I've almost lost my thumb and my arm pretty much.
And what's that you have in your hand?
Crack.
Is there an immediate effect from the fentanyl?
Snorting it, no. Snorting it takes probably about 15 minutes or so. It's not like shooting it, but it definitely lasts a lot longer. Here, stand right here, babe. Over a little bit more. There you go.
Is there an immediate feeling from the crack?
Yes, when it's good, that's not really that good. But when it's really good, like, it gets you high probably for like a minute or two. It kind of sucks, but
What does it feel like?
it's like a type of speed, so it just like, I don't know, it I can't really explain it. It just makes you feel good for a few minutes, you know? That's about it. And it like gives you kind of like a rush.
But it's very addictive.
Yes. Yeah. It's very addictive.
You want more of it.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's been getting busted. Our drug dealers.
Dealers?
Yeah, like the other day I was going to meet my guy, and we're walking up to the car, and as I'm walking up to his car, a cop pulls up behind him.
God.
Man.
So you got busted?
Yeah, he had a lot of shit on him.
You got caught like right then and there.
Yeah, I'm not doing a deal, but somebody snitched on him, met him. Like, I seen him like right afterwards, and I tried to tell him, he tried to act like he didn't know him.
How do you know he snitched on him?
Because right before I was going to meet him, I seen him and this girl, and I'm like, they're like, we're looking at, and afterwards I seen him, and I was like, dude, a cop just got behind me. And I was just like, that was weird to me right there, because he knew who he was. He just met him, you know? And
but you knew that he wasn't like an undercover, like you knew the guy.
no,
that
he was a CI. He was a confidential informant.
Never seen him around here.
I've never seen him.
Whoa.
Yeah, and the cop pulled up behind me and like took off. I would have kept going, but he stopped like right like up the street.
Who do you guys normally, like, you go a lot, or?
I just recently started messing again, but no, I have a different guy I go to in Overtown.
So what's your name?
Shannon Moore.
Where are you from?
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay. What was it like growing up there?
Crazy. Me and like my family were like, me and another family was like the only white people there. There was a lot of violence, drugs. It was pretty much the hood where I grew up.
Did you see that stuff at a young age?
Yes.
What was your home life like?
I had 2 twin sisters, and then I had my older brother. They're not my twins, but they're twins. They're my half sisters. And so I lived with my stepsisters, my brother, my stepdad, and my mom growing up. And my mom drank a lot, and my stepdad always gambled, and he was in the military, so he's really strict. Going to school, I did not like school. I would skip school all the time. I wouldn't do my work. I didn't have a lot of friends in school. So that got me into drugs early too. But yeah, I didn't like school, so I tried to avoid it a lot. And
Why didn't you like school?
I don't know, because I didn't really have a lot of friends. And
Why do you think you didn't have a lot of friends?
I just didn't. I stayed to myself a lot.
Was that due to your environment at home?
Well, I got pregnant when I was 13, so I mean, that right there, I was like pregnant and 13 in school. That, you know, I didn't talk to a lot of people because of that.
How did that happen?
One of my brother's best friends or whatever, I started talking to him, I mean, because he was older, and I, you know, for when he was older, and I didn't have a lot of friends, so I, you know, like, I guess wanted to be around somebody who was older, and I don't know, it was a mistake that I even did that, but anyhow, I got with him, and my mom didn't like that I was with him.
How much older was he?
I was 13, he was 21.
It's a pretty big age gap.
Yeah. My mom wanted to put him in jail, and I told her I'd never talk to her again if she did that, you know. I raised her and her brother, my son, until she was, I think, 6, and he was 4.
And why did you have to stop being a part of that?
Because, well, when I ended up turning 18, well, when I was 16, you know, I got my first job at Arby's, and I worked as much as I could because I didn't want to be around their dad because he was very abusive towards me.
The same guy?
Yeah, the same guy. He was very abusive, so I tried to, like, not be at his home as much as possible. So I'd go to work, and he'd take care of the kids, and when I'd be at work, he'd be calling, you know, my work a million times, and he actually came up to my job and punched me through the drive-through window, and it was crazy, because he always thought I was sleeping with somebody or something at work, you know. But anyhow, I held that job for about 2 years. I'll let this go past. And then when I was 18 or 17, I ended up going to the strip club and getting a job there. So I got a job at the strip club, and I was working every night, and I was making, when I first started, around $1,400.
And what were you doing at the strip club?
I was doing just like lap dances or millionaire suites that cost like $600 for an hour, but it was nothing sexual. That's back in the days before whores like started sucking dick for $10 in a strip club, you know. I can't compete with that, you know, $50 for a lap dance or a blowjob for 10, you know. But that's back in the day when before everybody started having sex for money in there. I was making about $1,400. I'd get off work. The kid's dad would come pick me up from work. We'd go to the dope man, get drugs, you know, get whatever food-wise we needed, go home, and the money would be gone by the next morning. You know, I'd be going to work the next day broke. But anyhow, so then backtrack a little bit. I started getting into drugs when I was about 12, like marijuana and Xanax and all that. But by the time I was dancing, I was shooting up heroin. When I was in St. Louis, it was heroin, not fentanyl.
How were you? Well, I want to backtrack just a little bit further, and Can you give us an idea of what your relationship was like with your parents, with your mom, with your stepdad, and how you kind of ended up going down this path instead of, sticking in school and kind of doing that, what society says you're supposed to do, I guess?
Well, my relationship with my mom was like, my mom tried to be more my friend than my mother. And my relationship with my stepdad was, he looked at me as his daughter, but he was really strict. He wanted what was best for me, but as I looked at it, he was just trying to be an asshole when I was younger, to me. And of course, him and my mom would like fight, and she'd be beating the shit out of him, and he wouldn't really, do anything to her, and then I would hate him for that also. Well, and then my dad was not in the picture really at all. But when he was in the picture, I loved it because he's my dad and I miss him. And I would tell my stepdad, you're not my dad, because he tried to make me call him dad and all that.
And why was your dad not in the picture?
I don't know, because my mom and him just didn't get along. Like, my mom tried to get him for child support, and he wasn't really holding a job, so he wasn't really paying it. So my mom would like try to keep me from him because he wasn't paying the child support or whatever, and so I didn't like her for that. But me and my mom were really close growing up.
Was there any type of trauma or anything in your childhood?
Trauma, like maybe like with my brother, like molesting me and stuff like that. And there wasn't really a lot of trauma when I was younger. Not so much when I was younger.
That's a very traumatic thing.
Oh, my brother? Yeah. I don't know. It somehow made us have this really weird relationship, like, I don't know, almost like it attracted me to him or something. It's kind of gross, I know, but I don't know. It just really, it made us have a weird relationship throughout us growing up. I was real young when it happened, and then...
Did you tell your mom, or...?
Yeah, I told my mom. I didn't tell my mom until I was with my first kid's dad. He made me tell her, and she didn't believe me. She's like, Wayne wouldn't do that, and my kid's dad actually, like, got into a big argument with her about it, and... she didn't believe me, or she just didn't want to believe me, or she just didn't want to, because that was her favorite. My brother was her favorite.
Do you think that impacted you a lot? Do you think it's connected to any type of decisions you've made in your life? Or is it just something that happened?
I don't know. Like, it happened, and it made us have a real weird relationship, and I don't say that it would impact, like, as I got older, but, I don't know, like, that, it continued for a while, and then as we got older, like, he'd still hit on me, and it was weird, but... like I said, it somehow, in a weird way, attracted me towards him, to where I did it when I was older, I guess somewhat willingly. I know it's fucked up, but I don't know what happened. I'd say it definitely affected the type of porn I watch. I'm just kidding, but yeah, no, it was a very weird situation, and I think that my dad actually probably molested me too when I was younger, and how he the relationship we have now, he hits on me weirdly too, but my dad, no, like,
your
my real dad. Yeah, but they say when you're like real young, a really traumatic event, like, your brain like blocks it out when it happens. I don't know if you've heard of that, but because I remember being in the shower with my dad when I was really young. Why would you take a shower with your daughter? So I say I don't know for sure, and I don't remember anything happening, but I remember him just always being really weird with me.
And what was your relationship like with your other siblings?
My sisters, like, We were good when they were younger until they got older, and I was with my first kid's dad, and he was real abusive to me in front of them, and he kept me away from my sisters and my mom, so like they didn't like me for that at all. And then they see me getting into drugs, and they looked at me as what they didn't want to do with their life. And they're doing really good, and they're both in college, and they have, you know, or husbands that make good money. They're doing real good with their life. So I feel like me messing up and being a piece of crap on drugs, like they seen that, was like, oh, we don't want to do that with our life, and they didn't, you know. And
how did you get into drug use?
I got into drug use with my best friend. We started smoking marijuana together. And then, like, my first kid's dad, he got me smoking crack and doing Oxycontin 80s.
And how old were you at that time?
I was about 12 or 13.
So you smoked crack at 13?
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It's pretty awesome. It felt pretty good, you know. We'd smoke crack every Friday when his brother got paid, you know.
Was it a really common thing in your neighborhood or your...
Yeah, a lot of people smoked crack at that time. Did heroin.
Okay, so how did that progress from that first time doing it? You said you did it every Friday. Did you become consumed by it at that time? Or?
No, that didn't get me until later on in life. Like, I could pick that up and let it go. I never really spent money on it until I got about to this point in my life. I'd let everybody else buy it, you know.
Did you go to high school?
Yeah, I went to high school till I was about 10th or 11th grade, I think.
And while you were being a mother as well?
Yeah.
And you were living at home, obviously, at the time?
I was living with my my mom until like I was about 7-8 months pregnant, and then I moved in with my kid's dad and his mom and dad. Well, I was using while I was pregnant. And then, you know, after I had my daughter, I was using more because I wasn't pregnant no more. It progressed really fast from like the Oxycontin 80s and Dilaudids. I was snorting them to, I think, injecting them when I was like 16 or
How did you get introduced to...
My kid's dad.
When you first saw that, or when you were first presented with that opportunity, where was your head at? Were you hesitant, or were you...
I just knew, well, because I had started doing heroin, and I knew that I was spending a lot of money on heroin, you know, just snorting it. So I was ready to, like, and I seen people, like, shooting up and, like, you know, nodding out and being super fucked up. So I was just, like, and it was one of my kid's dad's friends that shot up all the time, and he was like, you know, I'll hit you, I'll do it for you. I was like, go for it. And I just had him do a little bit because I was scared of overdosing, and then it didn't feel nothing, so I had him do a lot more, and I liked it.
Was that first time, what was it like shooting up for the first time? Was it different than all the other times you had used?
It felt great.
Can you talk about the feeling?
It was just so powerful, and like it just made my body feel so warm, and like it just like I felt like $1 million. And from there was like no turning back. I was like never gonna try to like snort that again.
And what were you doing for income at this time?
I was stripping. Or no, that was when I was about 16 or so. I hadn't started stripping yet. I was working at Arby's, and my mom helped me out, you know, when I needed it.
Was your mom aware of your drug use at the time?
Not at that point, no. I started stripping when I was 18.
And how long did you do that for?
Until I was about 26, 25 or 26.
Can you talk about some of what your life was like between 18 and 26?
Well, it got very hectic. Like the abuse from like my kid's dad got like really bad, and he kept me away from my family. And like it was a lot to take in, like the working every night and the abuse, and then trying to take, you know, care of my kids. Like it got to be a lot, you know. But I still did it, you know, every day I had to. I mean, he wouldn't work. And then, you know, eventually around 25 or so, I found meth. Yeah, and that really messed a lot of stuff up. Because then I stopped stripping because I couldn't go to work high on meth. I started doing Xanax too in that time, so I was doing Xanax and heroin, and like I was ODing left and right. I was ODing a lot. What else?
How did you come back from the overdoses? Were people like giving you Narcan or?
Back then it was like the Narcan and the syringe, you know.
Like an EpiPen kind of thing?
No, it's like they would suck it was like a little valve, and they stuck the needle up in it and sucked the Narcan out. It wasn't like the ones you spray in your nose, you know?
Oh, okay.
So like, a lot of the times they would end up calling an ambulance, but like when they did it and they would hit me with the Narcan, you could tell like they didn't know what they were doing because they used way too much. And it made me so super sick because they didn't know how much to use, and you know, to not use it was crazy. And if it wasn't the Narcan, then a bag of ice would do it too. But a lot of times I woke up in the hospital.
And those experiences, they weren't scary enough to make you want to stop?
No. When I wake up from an overdose, they'd be like, "Where's my drugs?" You know.
What do you think drug use provided for you at that time? Were you trying to escape something, or were you just...
I was trying to escape, like, just my life, like, from my kid's dad. It was so horrible. Like, the abuse was so bad.
But you started even before...
Yeah, I had started before that. I think I did. I don't really know, like, emotionally why. Me and my kids that were, like I said, we were on heroin, and we were living with his mom and dad, you know, before, and like Casey, my kid's dad, I'll just say his name, he didn't get along with his dad, so him and his dad would fist fight all the time. His dad would get drunk, and so we were tired of being there and just all the violence and drama all the time, plus me and him would always fight. Like, so we moved out and we went and got a hotel. And we got the hotel, and like back in the day, I would get like a gram or two of heroin, and I had a blender, and I would get dormant and I would whip it myself. Like, they were capsules, so I'd whip the drugs myself, and then we'd do them like that instead of buying the capsules that were more expensive, you know.
I've never heard of that. So it's a capsule, you eat it?
No, you'd shoot it up still, but the capsule held the drugs, you know. And when you whip it, it makes it fluffier, so you get more.
Oh, okay. So it's like doses?
Yeah.
Okay. But the capsule is like those clear, like what you would see like ecstasy in or something? Like,
yeah, but a little smaller.
And you would just open it and take from that. Okay. Yeah.
That's how I'd measure how much I would do, you know. So anyhow, like we would blend our drugs, and we lived in the hotel room. So there was a lot of paraphernalia in the hotel room. And one night, mind you, it was $50 a night. And so one night, my brother came over and he's like, "Sis, you know, I'm sick, please help me." And Casey told me, he said, don't help him, don't let him in. And I still let him in. And I gave him some dope, gave him some food, and made him a pallet on the floor. And the next morning I woke up, and I had put my money for the room on the microwave. And I hid my drugs, but I wasn't thinking about it, him being there, because he was sleeping. And put the $50 in the microwave, and me and Casey took the kids down to breakfast. Well, when I came back from breakfast, the money was gone. And I knew he took it, you know. And so I was like, "Wayne, please give me my money back. That's the money I have to pay for the room for my kids, you know." And, he wouldn't give it back. So I started beating his ass, and so did Casey. And we beat him, and he was trying to get out the door and yell for help. And it was really pathetic. And then he finally got out the door, and he went to go towards the office, I guess, to call the cops. I said, Wayne, please don't do that. You know I got a warrant. I was like, please don't do that. And he looked at me and he was like, sis, you know, I know you got a warrant or whatever. And then he went and he called the police. And we took the kids and we left when we went to Casey's mom and dad's house. And I guess the cops came to the hotel room, seeing that while we were fighting, we knocked needles into the crib on accident. And they seen that there was paraphernalia and the needles in the crib didn't look good, you know. So they came and got my kids from his mom and dad's house. They didn't even ask their names or anything. They just seen them and was like, you know, we're taking them. It could have been somebody else's kids. Crazy.
So your brother was also using drugs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we used together a lot in that period of time. After they took my kids, I went into a really dark place, and then I really, really started doing a lot of drugs. And I was doing so much drugs that I couldn't make it to my visits to see him. And if I did make it to my visits, I was nodding out. I couldn't get him back. And then I ended up moving in with my mom, and I just was so fucked up about him taking him that I couldn't get my life together, you know.
And at this point, your mom knew about your drug use. Did you try to go to treatment or anything like that?
At that point in my life, no. Until I tried meth for the first time. When I tried meth, it was like I fell in love with it. I was shooting it, of course, and it was.
What did you like about it?
Well, when I first started doing it, I could do a shot of meth and have sex for days, you know. And I would stay up for 4 days at a time. That was my cutoff, because after 4 days I would end up going to jail or something bad would happen. I couldn't stay up for weeks at a time like some people be doing. It's crazy.
But even after 4 days, what was your head like at that point?
After 4 days of being up, I got real retarded and my body started doing this real stupid fucking weird shit, and yeah, I like it, but it was more I was just so extra and retarded. If I went out in public, people would definitely know.
But it was uncontrollable,
It was uncontrollable. Oh, it was horrible. That's why 4 days I had to stop, do some heroin, and sit my ass till I fell asleep. Because I would end up going to jail just for being in, what's it called, public intoxication.
Had you been to jail already at this point?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what are some of the reasons you went to jail in the past?
Most of them was possession of controlled substance. I'd either get caught with a button, or I'd get caught with a syringe that had residue in it. That was a lot of them. Or a button with residue. A button's a capsule of heroin. And then my first charge was a theft. The theft and the possessions were all the felonies. I'd had a lot of suspended driving charges. I had petty thefts, paraphernalia, public intoxication, shit like that.
So were these short jail stints, or were you ever in for a long period of time?
I think my longest time in jail was 7 months. It was miserable.
And what were you arrested for that time?
That was possession, but that was my, I think, 5th possession or so. And I'd already been on probation for it in 2 counties.
And did you stay clean in jail for those 7 months?
I used a few times, so it wasn't nothing regular.
In jail. So when you got out, had you broken the habit?
No. I got out and would instantly go back to it. Because I sat in jail that whole time, and I'm like, fuck, I can't wait to get out to get high. You know, it's I fantasize about it. It's ridiculous.
That's interesting. What are you able to explain that to people that haven't experienced addiction? You were probably not happy with your life before that. You know, getting high, all that. You said it was very chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it something that you would want to just jump right back into? Is it just because the feeling is so good, or like what?
No,
what?
it's because it's what I knew, you know? It's just a habit. It's just my way of life. I knew. It's what I was used to. I wasn't used to holding a job and being sober and having friends and doing the right thing. I was used to being a drug addict and getting in trouble and being miserable. And
Do you think that if there was some kind of like support system or like obtainable pathway for you to get your life back on track upon release, that you would have taken it? To where it's like, yeah, you can do this, this, and this, and you'll have income and an apartment, like.
I don't know, like, because I've had that chance before, you know? Like, not necessarily out of jail, but I've had so many opportunities to get my life together, and I fucked it up. Like, just like, year and a half or 2 years, whatever ago, I had my own house that was paid for. My mom helped me whenever I needed it, you know, like, and I was on my own and I was away from the drugs, and I definitely could have got my life together then, you know. Just recently, like I don't know how, it was just recently, I was at Camilla's house. And they help you with a lot there. And like, I was sober, I think, for the first month or two I was there, you know, and I just fucked that up.
How so?
Let's see, how did I relapse? I think one day I just got a wild hair on my ass just to go smoke crack. And smoking crack turned into using fentanyl. And then using fentanyl I used to shoot, or well, I always shot up, but shooting up and then coming back and nodding out in front of everybody.
So eventually they caught on and they kicked you out?
No, well, I was getting high and they didn't necessarily know it, but my roommate, like my best friend, that's what I called her back then, but she knew it, and I don't know if she was mad or jealous, or I don't know what was going on with her, but she would always go and tell on me, like, for being high, or she's in the shower too long, to the therapist. And like one day, like, security came to me and they were like, we searched your room, we found Molly underneath your bed. And I don't do Molly at all, and I know she has connections to Molly, like her best friend sells it. I think what she did is she went and told security she seen me put a bag under my bed, but she put it under my bed and then told them she seen me do it, and they searched my room and found it. It got me kicked out. When I met my second kid's dad, I have 6 children. So I have 2 with my first kid's dad, and he's dead. He overdosed. And then I have 4 with my second kid's dad. He's also passed away. He died. I left the car running. There was an exhaust leak, and he died from carbon monoxide poisoning. We were coming back from St. Louis going to Kentucky, and it was in the middle of winter, and there was an exhaust leak in the car, and I fell asleep with the car running, and the windows were up. They had a little crack, but he got carbon monoxide poisoning.
But you were in the car too?
Yeah, I was in the car too. It didn't kill me though. I was out for 3 days after, and I lost my toes because of it.
You lost your toes?
Yeah, on my right foot I don't have toes. But yeah, I woke up and my toes were black, and they told me that he died. That really fucked me up. He was like, my person. He was like my soulmate. We were so close, and yeah. I carried a lot of guilt, like, in the beginning of it, because, I was the one that fell asleep with the car running. And I felt like God, like, why didn't you take me with him, or why didn't you kill me, I was very mad at God. I still don't have a really great relationship with God because of it. But yeah, I felt somewhat responsible.
It's not your fault.
I know.
So you're a spiritual person?
I mean...
Like, you believe in God?
I believe in God, yeah. I know that there's something out there, else I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Well, if you could do anything with your life, what would you like to do?
I don't really. I know I want to go to college, and I don't know. I always wanted to like have my own business.
What kind of business?
I don't know, like some type of food business or like just like or just like selling things, like buying things real cheap, like online, like merchandise, and like reselling them.
Well, what are some of your interests outside of this lifestyle? Like, what are some like fun facts about you?
My interest. I like doing like, I don't know. I like labor work. Like I like working on cars. I like going to school. I took like 10 computer classes for my ex. I liked going to college, you know.
Do you like learning?
Yeah, somewhat, except for math. I'm horrible at math.
Me too.
Yeah, so bad. I love going to the movies.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite movie?
I like Suicide Squad.
A lot of people don't like that Joker though.
He was just talking about that earlier.
Oh yeah? Well, not like the Joker as a character is awesome, but a lot of people don't like Jared Leto's version. Do you like that? You like it? His version?
I think he looks crazy in it. I love it. But like hobbies or whatever. Like I've always making money. Like I can make money off pretty much. Like I've always like being able to make my own money. Like if it's selling something or like some type. I don't necessarily like working for somebody else, but that's why I say I definitely want to have my own business someday.
How do you make money now?
Right now, my mom's helping me out a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you consider that enabling?
Yeah, definitely. Because at this point, she really knows what I do with it. I don't know why she helps me out so much, but she helps me a lot. That period of time, that's when I ended up leaving my my first kid's dad, and I ended up getting with. There were a few guys in between that, but I ended up getting with Anthony, my second kid's dad, and we did a lot of drugs together. But I stayed away from the heroin for a while, and just started doing a lot of meth. I consider myself somewhat sober,
Somewhat sober?
Yeah, because I wasn't doing the heroin, but I was doing meth, so I say somewhat. But I was taking my Suboxone every day.
Were you more functional on
meth?
Than...
I'd say so, yeah, because I wasn't always asleep. My head wasn't always in my lap.
How did you even end up leaving Missouri?
Well, I went from Missouri. I went to Illinois. Oh, wow, I went to a lot of states. I went from Illinois to Kentucky. Kentucky is where Anthony's mom lived. And then from Kentucky, we moved to Tennessee. Where else have I lived? Oh, and then, from the Tennessee, Kentucky, I went to Ohio. That was after Anthony died. And then from Ohio, I went, I just got a wild hair at Mass. It was so cold there. After I lost my house, I just came here.
By yourself?
I came with my boyfriend at the time.
How long ago was that you came here?
It's been about a year and a half.
A year and a half?
Well, in between that time, I had 6 kids. I've had... My first 2 were taken away. And then... Olivia, I kept... Alice and Anthony were taken away at birth. And then Sandra and Olivia I got to keep for a while.
Did you enjoy being a mother?
Yes, I love being a mom. I did drugs, but I was still a good mom.
Is that something that you'd like to get back to? Like their
Yes,
lives?
I would like, my 2 older children want to come and they want to live with me. They're with my grandparents, and my grandparents are a lot older now, and my 2 oldest kids want to live with me, but they can't come and live with me right now. I'm not stable, enough. And then my youngest, my second to youngest child is with Anthony's mom, and I have my rights to her still. My rights have not been taken away with her, but I can't get her because I have a warrant in Kentucky.
Sometimes people don't understand how someone could choose drugs over their kids. Can you shed some light on that to kind of bring understanding? Because I know it's not like it's not what you want.
I think that drugs were just my way of dealing with life and the pain and everything. And when I was doing drugs before my first 2 children, by the time I had them, that was the lifestyle that I knew. That's what I turned to for everything. And then when they got taken away, that's how I dealt with it. Was for the drugs. I don't think it was necessarily that I was choosing the drugs over my children. I just couldn't deal with my emotions enough to be there, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I was still a good mom. I loved being pregnant with them. My last child, I didn't use drugs at all throughout the pregnancy. I thought I was going to get a keeper, but I didn't get to because my son's rights, I hadn't signed off on them yet, and they ended up taking her too. But I never put my children in any harm's way or anything with drugs. I think I was a good mom. They didn't think so, but I thought so. I'm still close with my children, except for 3 of them today.
Yeah, I think it says something that they still are reaching out to you, How did you end up in Overtown when you got to Miami?
I was at the library downtown one day, at the main library, I guess, is that Overtown? It's not really Overtown, right? That's downtown, right?
That's downtown. But very close.
So I was there one day, and when I first got down here.
And when you got here, were you using?
No, I was actually on my Suboxone, but I only had about 2 weeks of my Suboxone left because I got my script from Ohio. I sold some, and I saved some for when I was down here. But I thought I was going to be able to come down here and go to a doctor, but I didn't have insurance when I got here. So I had about 2 weeks of my Suboxone strips, and I was with my ex at the time, and he didn't do Suboxone or anything, but he done fentanyl in the past. But anyhow, so I had 2 weeks of that, and then I was at the library one day, and I was sick, and I seen this guy, and he was talking about crack. I was like, well, where do you get drugs here? And he told me Overtown, and he told me the directions here. And me and my ex came here, and I seen some guys standing outside. I was like, do you know where any ice is at, meth, or fentanyl? And he said, yeah, I got some. And then from then
The first guy you asked had it?
Yeah. And then I started doing that every day. My ex didn't want to start doing it every day, so.
Where were you guys staying?
We were staying in Brickell at the time.
In a
At the park.
Outside.
Mhm.
Had you experienced homelessness before coming here?
In Ohio, a little bit, yeah. But even there, I had a shelter. My ex didn't want to do it every day, so I was like, whatever, I'm still going to, you know.
What happened? Is he still out here?
No, he actually went back to Ohio, and he had a warrant for a probation violation in Ohio. So I think he's in jail. I don't know.
So then you ended up kind of by yourself for a while here on the streets?
Well, we ended up going to detox, and they separated the guys and the girls there. So I was tired of him because he didn't help me with like no money. Like all he did was do the drugs, and we didn't really have sex. He was a little bitch. He just acted like a female badly, and if I wanted that, I'd be with a woman, you know. He just didn't have no motivation, didn't help me at all, and just got on my nerves a lot, you know. So we went to detox, and I left.
You left the detox?
Yeah, and I ended up coming back here, and so I left him there. And he didn't have no phone, nothing, and I knew that, so he ended up leaving there, staying here for like a week by himself, and having his dad buy him a ticket home. And then I was out here for a while. I was by myself, yeah. And it sucks being out here by yourself as a woman.
Can you talk about some of the experiences you've had in Overtown?
People definitely try you out here. Like they try to rob you. I've been raped out here. I've had people try to rape me, rob me. I've like passed out and they've took everything I've had. It can definitely be grimy out here. That's why I try to stay to myself. After being out here by myself for a little bit, I lost my debit card, so I had to have my mom like start cash apping people's cash app, you know, and I had my phone stolen one night, so I had to have my mom Western Union me, and she Western Unioned one of my so-called friends and his name, and he ended up just taking all my money. And then I just got my phone stolen. It was $120. I was so mad. So on my way to the library, I seen this guy. I was like, can I use your phone? He's like, yeah. So we went back to the library. I was using his phone, and James walked in. I seen him. I was like, oh, he's cute. I was like, do you have Cash App? And that's how we met. I used his Cash App, and I kidnapped him. The fentanyl use for me has been going on, you know, off and on since I pretty much got down here. But it's gotten a lot worse. Like I started shooting it. Well, I was shooting it all along. Well, I was smoking it at first, actually.
Had you done fentanyl before coming here, or was it heroin up there? Fentanyl here?
It was heroin, and then in Ohio it was fentanyl. The heroin, like, I feel like it was a lot better. It lasted longer. It like hit stronger. But then the fentanyl, you know, there's some fentanyl that's really strong. It's really good. It gives you a good rush, but it don't last as long. I like the heroin better.
Yeah, most people say that.
Yeah.
But it's 50 times more potent than heroin.
It can be if you get the right stuff.
Did you experience any overdoses on fentanyl?
Yes. Just recently. I had an overdose on fentanyl until recently. Actually, I OD'd on the 9th, and I think that was the first time I overdosed on fentanyl.
And that was here?
Yeah. I was at the college. I went in there. I just took 2 blue football Xanaxes.
At the college? What, the Miami-Dade?
Yeah. I took 2 blue Xanaxes of footballs. Before that I was taking bars, but I guess they're fake. Because when I took the 2 blues and I went in the bathroom and I did a shot, I overdosed. I lost my phones. Some girls took my phones. I just bought the phone.
Wait, you shot up in Miami-Dade College?
Yeah, in the bathroom. Pretty
That's
smart,
where I went
huh?
to school.
Pretty smart. And I had like $50, $60 worth of crack in my purse. Didn't even know it. Like, I was like, you better not smoke out here. I'm taking it. And I took it, and I never came back out of the bathroom.
So who found you in there?
I don't know. I guess some girls that took my phone did or whatever. And then, like, he thought I died or whatever. He's freaking out. And I pulled through, and I went to the hospital. And I was there till, like, 2 o'clock in the morning sleeping because, like, the Narcan, like, took it out of me. And, like, when I got out, I couldn't remember his number because I overdosed. So I was freaking out, you know? And I came in the waiting room, and he was sitting there waiting for me the whole time. It was sweet. Yeah. I would have killed me if I took my crack. Stupid train.
So recently, what is your day-to-day been like?
Well, like, before I was shooting drugs, you know, like, it was pretty out of control. Because I got to where I was, like, just shooting up, and I was just, like, nodding out, passing out everywhere. Like, and then when this happened to my arm, the abscess or whatever, I left the needles alone, you know? Mainly because James won't let me do it at all, but that, and I don't have no veins to go in, and I hate sitting there poking myself. You know, this is the only vein I had.
A lot of people will start shooting up in their neck.
Oh no. After I shot up in my artery and it sent the blood clot to my thumb, like, it sent a blood clot to his thumb, and this one, it was black.
And you mentioned showing your arm. Is that something you...
Yeah, well, like, I just had surgery on this. The abscess got into my muscle. So, like, after that, like, and plus he don't want me to do it, and, like, and after, like, me just, like, being, my experience with it, like, and I hate sitting there just trying to poking myself forever, and then, like, missing or clotting up. Like, it's just a whole process that's just a pain in the ass. Worrying about the cops, you know, getting caught by the cops. It's just a big pain in the ass. Unnecessary that I don't want to deal with. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it becomes like a bloody mess, right? Like,
yeah, and it's embarrassing to sit there and try to poke yourself forever, you know, and still not get nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it makes my life uncontrollable, miserable. I let myself go, you know. I don't take care of myself at all. I stopped caring about everything except for that needle and the drugs, you know. And, like, I always said I would never stop shooting drugs. I would never go back to smoking it or snorting it or whatever. And yeah, it fucks my nose up every day, and I absolutely cannot stand it, but I still get higher off of snorting it.
higher?
Yeah, I get more, don't I? I get more fucked up off of snorting it, and it lasts longer than I do shooting it.
That's interesting. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe just a change of route change, or I don't know. It's weird. But ever since I've stopped shooting it, like, I feel like my life has got somewhat better. Even though I'm still homeless or whatever, I just feel like my mental, like, has changed a lot, and just altogether, I feel like it's getting somewhat better.
Where's your head at in terms of stopping your drug use?
I feel like it's gonna be coming soon. Yeah, I gotta get some saline because this don't want to come off. It's like stuck. I hope it's not getting infected, man. I know I took the one for today. I gotta take the other one. Oh. Good thing it don't break. Hold on. I'm gonna keep putting this on there.
What?
No, I'm not pulling it and ripping it.
Wow.
Yeah. So this was like my only vein I had, and now it's just... It would be so stupid to go back there, you know? And it has that xylazine in it, you know? Like, that is probably one of the main... Yeah.
That's good, man.
He's about the only one that can, because nobody else has kept me from it. That's for sure.
What is the meaning behind those tattoos?
Oh, well, this is my ex's name, like a genius. And I just like these. Well, that was a heart. That's my soon-to-be ex-husband's name with a void through it.
You have some planets there?
Yeah, it looks like a 2-year-old did it, huh?
Did you do it yourself?
No. Look at that, babe. It looks bad on it. Like poking out, yeah. Don't press it. Shit. I think the antibiotics will heal it. Stop touching it.
Probably hurts. And this one?
It says, do what makes you happy, be what makes you smile, laugh as much as you breathe, and love as long as you live.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have bows on the back of my thighs, too.
And your finger says art?
No, it says Aunt. And that was my second kid's dad's name. The one that's dead. Well, they're both dead, but the one I actually liked.
Is there anything else about your life story that we haven't touched on?
I just know that like I've been on drugs for a long time, and it's been a long time coming for me to just be happy and freaking stable, and you know, I just can't wait till I can get up and not have to go and get drugs to function like throughout the day, you know, and like.
What do you think it'll take for you to be ready to make that change?
Sorry, I'm just waiting really for him to get his apartment where I can I can somewhat have some stability in my life, get that chance, like maybe we can open our own business, or you know, but just to where we'd have a place to like lay our heads at night and be stable, you know, be able to like go to meetings and come home, you know, not be on the streets. I think me being homeless has a lot to do with my drug use right now. But I don't know, I've never really did a program and stayed sober, but I've never really wanted to either.
So you feel like kind of at the point where you'd be open to a program and...
Absolutely, yeah. I just always wanted to be happy, and I think I needed to be happy, and I think I'm somewhat getting to that, you know.
Yeah, you'll never be happy until you get out of the drug use.
I know.
As good as they make you feel, it's a false happiness, you know.
Yeah, and it's at the point, like, it doesn't even make you feel good. You're still miserable. It just helps you function somewhat, you know. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of this lifestyle. I'm ready to be happy and like be stable, be responsible, and be an adult and shit.
Do you have any regrets?
I regret not being there for my kids. But I'm not really hard on myself about it because they love me and I love them, so I don't really have that many regrets in life.
And he had mentioned it on his own actually, but I want to ask you, what are your dreams like?
I just want to be happy.
Like when you fall asleep?
Oh, what are my dreams like? It can be crazy. I have a lot of nightmares. I also have like that sleep paralysis stuff.
That's linked to anxiety.
Yeah, you have it too?
I used to have it really bad. Now
Yeah.
it doesn't happen so much. I've gotten to like a better headspace. But yeah, you see like
Demons
and shit. Yeah, which it's just your brain making that up.
I don't know. I feel like it's real.
I think it's when for me at least, I'd wake up and be like you're paralyzed, you know,
Yeah,
and I'd start panicking,
Yeah.
and then like thinking negative thoughts, and then I think that's what causes those dark figures and shit. Like it's because of the headspace you're in when that happens. You know, you're afraid.
I only really have them when I'm fucking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad though. Yeah.
And you said, do you have any dreams that you remember lately?
I don't know. I be having really weird dreams too, like some off the wall shit. I don't really remember it. I remember when I first get up, and I don't remember it afterwards.
But the majority of them are negative or positive?
A lot of them are negative. And if they're positive, they're just weird, you know.
I always find that so interesting. Like, I think dreams are your subconscious processing what you see and do, and so I find it super interesting. Like
Like when I get stable, I'd like to keep like a dream journal or something.
Yeah. Was there anything else you'd like to say or share before we end the video?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, maybe we can check in with you in a few months, and same with James, and do like an update. You know, hopefully you guys are in a better place at that time.
Hopefully it's totally different.
But I'd love to, you know.
Hopefully you can come to our place and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.